Hello and welcome to Yorkshire Voice on this Tuesday, the 25th of March. I'm Holly Hughes.
And I'm Sinead Ferry. Here's what's coming up on the programme today.
Nearly 400 jobs to be cut as Bradford-based supermarket chain Morrisons announces the closure of cafes, delis and pharmacies at a number of their stores.
Anger in Leeds as bus fares are set to go up by the end of the month.
And full steam ahead as Worth Valley Railway gears up to host a nostalgic performance of a classic children's story.
First, hundreds of jobs are at risk after Bradford-based supermarket chain Morrisons announced major closures across the country.
More than 50 in-store cafes will close, as well as some pharmacy and deli counters. Our reporter, Courtney Brady, has been speaking to residents at the Horsforth branch.
Yes, I've come down to the Morrison store in Horsforth here today as it's one of the locations that is set to close its cafe. The announcement that was released yesterday comes at a potential loss of 365 jobs across the UK. I spoke with local shoppers here this morning to find out how they felt.
Well, we think it's going to affect parents with children who like the, cheaper meals there.
It's a free meal, isn't it?
And it's a free meal. And we'll miss it because we socialise and go and have a coffee and cake in there after we've done our shopping. So I think it'll be missed by most. And I think Anne agrees with me.
Yeah, and where the finances are with elderly people, it's too expensive to go to the other businesses that do coffees and things,
Although few wanted to share their thoughts on camera, Horsforth locals were mixed in their opinions on the matter. Some felt like the closure held little importance as there are several other cafes located nearby, whilst others expressed how the cafe was a cheap place to eat and socialise. In a press statement released by Morrisons yesterday, their CEO said the following. The changes we are announcing today are a necessary part of our plans to renew and reinvigorate Morrisons and enable us to focus our investment into the areas that customers really value and that can play a full part in our growth. Morrisons cafes are rightly famous for their great quality, well-priced food, their place in the local community and their appealing mix of traditional favourites alongside exciting new dishes. In most locations, the Morrisons Cafe has a bright future, but a minority have specific local challenges, and in those locations, regrettably, closure and reallocation of the space is the only sensible option. I've been Courtney Brady for Yorkshire Voice.
Bus passengers in West Yorkshire say they're concerned about rising fares with the county's £2 bus fare cap set to end next week. The price of a single ticket is going up by another 50p and could increase further in the new year.
But transport bosses say there could be good news ahead for passengers with big changes on the horizon for the region, including West Yorkshire Combined Authority bringing bus services back into public ownership. Our reporter Raj Kaur has more on this.
West Yorkshire's bus cap is set to end on Monday. The cap introduced to ease the cost of living crisis has been a lifeline for many, but from April, passengers will see prices rise to £2.50 on single fares and £6 on daysaver tickets. Bus operators First Buses said the new prices follow adjustments to the Mayor's fare scheme in West Yorkshire. The fare structure is based on single and day ticket prices. We have worked closely with the Combined Authority to keep fares as affordable as possible and maintain a service that benefits both the community and the environment. We spoke to the public to find out how this will affect them.
I don't think I'll be getting the bus that much because it's already expensive as it is. It's just, I can't afford that, the increase. No.
Not massively, but obviously if there's two of us going to town on the bus, there and back, it's going to be quite a lot of money. So we might walk or go somewhere else.
Yeah, well, it's going to affect me. I use the bus. I don't use it as much as a lot of people, but even then, just these sort of small increases, they add up over weeks and months, and suddenly it's just this, another thing you've got to worry about.
West Yorkshire Combined Authority's Tracy Brabin said, more affordable and simpler fares are the only way to get more people using public transport, reducing congestion, improving air quality and tackling the climate change. Buses in West Yorkshire will be brought back under public control for the first time in nearly 4 decades. I spoke with Matthew Topham from We Own It to understand more. Thanks for joining us. What can you tell us about the bus services moving to public control and how this will impact passengers and the bus operators?
So West Yorkshire currently has a Wild West system of running its buses. It's a system called deregulation. No other European country has ever brought in the system we have in West Yorkshire and across much of England. And it basically means the private companies have free rein to do what they like on the services. Franchising or public control starts to reverse that system. So rather than having a private company able to just set up and run whatever route it likes, whatever fares it likes, now the mayor controls what routes get run, what the fare structure is, and also gets all the money that's made off selling tickets. Now, what she has to do under the current plans is contract that back out to private companies, and that contracting out is happening now, and so we expect to see a move to the franchising system in around 2027. And for passengers, it will mean we get integrated fares and tickets and routes. In Greater Manchester, where they brought this in, it's improved the reliability and punctuality of the buses. It's also increased the frequency and added new routes to services.
For now, though, passengers are being asked to check with their local operators as fare changes come into effect next month.
And joining us now is Brendan Walker, a Yorkshire-based transport consultant. So thank you very much for coming in, Brendan.
Thanks for having me.
And just to start off, what was the effect of the previous cap, and how is it going to change things now that it's up to £3?
So the initial cap, the government did a review, as you might expect, and they found that after the implementation of the £2 cap, there was a 5% increase in national bus ridership, which doesn't sound like a lot, but really it's been in free fall since the mid-80s, so any increase is unprecedented. So it's been a roaring success, really, and so it'll be a case of waiting to see with the £3 whether it'll have the same effect.
And do you think there'll be anyone in particular affected by this, and will there be any compensation for them?
Where we're at with bus services now is they've been run down to such a degree where it's the profitable routes that are running, and the socially beneficial routes are pretty much long gone. So those that are using the buses day in, day out through no choice, those extra 50p's and pounds on every fare will start to add up, and it will make a difference. I mean, when it becomes part of the combined authority, then there's a chance there that funding will be a bit more level rather than being funneled into the operator's pocket. So there's a chance there that things will get better, hopefully, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, thank you very much, Brendan. And meanwhile, the Chancellor is preparing to announce her spring statement. Similar to the autumn budget, the statement gives the Leeds West MP Rachel Reeves the opportunity to introduce new measures to help the economy.
It marks a significant challenge for the Chancellor, who will be hoping to finance public services without causing major political disruption. Our reporter Benjamin Monsey has more.
Thanks, Sinead. When elected in July last year, Labour said their central mission was to kickstart the economy. Now, 8 months on, the economy is flatlining. According to YouGov polling data, 80% of Brits said that the public finances are in a bad state, with only 3% describing it as good. It's into this space that the first female Chancellor of the Exchequer and Leeds West MP, Rachel Reeves, will attempt to introduce remedying economic strategies in her spring statement tomorrow. However, she will have to walk a difficult political tightrope, attempting to fulfil Labour's promise of increased public spending whilst simultaneously not raising taxes. So how will the Chancellor find the money? The area with the largest consensus for cuts, according to polling, was welfare, with 51% saying cuts could be made. Of this figure, only 19% believe it can be done without any negative effects. One option the Chancellor seems to have her sights upon is cutting waste in government. This could include saving money by removing red tape in institutional bodies like the civil service. Just recently, the Prime Minister announced the scrapping of NHS England, perhaps a sign of things to come. Up until the announcement tomorrow, however, this is all just speculation. So join us tomorrow, where we'll have the full breakdown of the statement and discuss how the changes will affect you. Back to you, Holly.
Next, staff at a charity in Leeds which supports elderly people with mobility issues say they're heartbroken after their minibus was stolen.
Trinity Network in Belle Isle raised £24,000 in donations to buy the bus, named Norman. It was used to help get vulnerable people around the centre. Our reporter Esme Banerjee went out to find out more.
Trinity Network has been supporting vulnerable and elderly adults in South Leeds for the last 50 years and provides daily transport to and from their centre. However, last week their minibus Norman was stolen, impacting the delivery of their work.
Yes, it's been a great impact on Trinity Network because a lot of the people or members are vulnerable people who use the transport, and it was a door-to-door service with the minibus driver, the trust of the minibus driver, and obviously they feel that they can't come into the centre due to the lack of transport, because you can't expect vulnerable people to get in taxis with strange people. So it has had a great impact. Probably as numbers have dropped by 30-35% per week. We're open Monday to Friday, and it's a big amount, is that, for a charity like us.
The minibus is still yet to be found, so please get in contact with the police if you have any information. Esme Banerjee for Yorkshire Voice.
Thank you very much, Esme. Now, a campaigner who was instrumental in the instalment of a blue plaque in Leeds has stressed the importance of preserving the history of the abolitionist movement.
Professor Bridget Bennett says the city played a key role in the anti-slavery campaign. Our reporter Megan Clibbins spoke to her earlier.
Today is the International Day of Remembrance of the transatlantic slave trade. Leeds is one of the lesser known cities for its involvement. However, it played a key role in both benefiting from slave labour as well as contributing to the abolition movement.
So if we think about abolition and anti-slavery in this country, we often think of the big port cities. We think of Bristol, Liverpool, but Leeds also had a textile industry, though it wasn't a cotton industry, and was absolutely central to the abolition of slavery.
Professor Bridget Bennett played an instrumental role in campaigning for the installation of a blue plaque to commemorate the abolitionist movement here in Yorkshire.
So in the 1850s, people in Leeds would absolutely have understood what enslavement was and what the cultures of slavery were like. I think it's vital to have ways of remembering history so that we don't repeat it.
Megan Clibbins for Yorkshire Voice.
Thank you for that, Megan. Now, Claude Hendrickson has been an anti-racism activist in Leeds for decades. He was the director of the 200-year celebration of the Abolition of Slavery Act in 2007.
I'd like the king, the empire, to say, you know, enough is enough. Up until 2015, they were still paying ex-slave masters for the loss of having slaves. So imagine until 2015, they were still paying funds to ex-slave masters. But what about the people that had been enslaved? What about the regions of Africa that had suffered from that? What about the colonialism that happened in the Caribbean because of it? So I would like to see all debt associated with regions of the world that suffered under that disappear. That would be my one thing, so they could all trade on a fair, level playing field.
Well, one group based in the Caribbean is advocating for reparations for those affected by the slave trade. Repair campaigns for formal apologies and financial redress for victims. They also work to highlight the prevalence of the slave trade and its history in modern society. Earlier, we spoke to Brian Royce from his group from his home in Jamaica.
The word repair is interesting in that it implies healing, it implies restoration and reconnection. And there is a sense that everyone stands to benefit from a repaired relationship between the UK and the Caribbean, in that there are many ways that these two regions are historically interlinked and indeed are still linked in the present day. And a repaired relationship offers a sense of reconnection, belonging, even cultural exchange. And that cultural exchange includes knowledge exchange, because I think we have so much to learn from each other, and even economic opportunities to engage with each other. But it can only be done first from a foundation of justice and equal footing.
Great comments from Brian Royce there. Now, peace talks are taking place in Saudi Arabia to try and bring an end to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Our reporter Adonis Storr spoke with refugees from the Leeds Ukrainian Community Association to find out how they're feeling amid the shifting political landscape.
This is Leeds Ukrainian Centre. The old wooden sign adorned with Ukraine's national colours is now a makeshift goalpost for the children who have escaped an invasion. Here since the 1960s, the centre hosts Leeds Ukrainian Community Association, who raise money for the war effort back home.
We here support displaced people, and we also help Ukraine with the humanitarian aid with both civilians and the frontline soldiers. Anti-drone devices, which are saving lives in the front line, take a priority. So whenever we get a request of that, we try to fulfill it as soon as possible. And they cost in the diapason of about £3,000–4,000 each. And we also buy pickup trucks, send it to Ukraine. That helps with the evacuation of troops. That helps with bringing medicine to front line, things like that. We also supply generators. We also supply Starlinks, EcoFlow systems. The list is never ending.
A small shop has been set up by the bay window, where you can buy everything from art, headbands and socks, to knickknacks, key rings and cups. Or you could attend a Mother's Day flowers workshop. The money is being raised for the war effort, and reminders of Russia's invasion are everywhere. Messages of peace are pinned to branches of a memoriam to the 3rd anniversary of the war. The message here says peace, but not at any price. Daria is a trustee of the Community Association.
So I left Ukraine, it was September 2022, when the war started. I left Ukraine with my little daughter. She was just 9 months, and we went straight away to Bulgaria by evacuation bus. And after I arrived in the UK. And first of all, I would like to say big thank you for all of British people, because I felt big support. I felt a big help, especially for my host family, because they was really look after us. Everything was new around me: culture, traditional food, people, language. Everything was new for me. Now I feel much more better. I feel safe. So big thank you.
As talks take place in Saudi Arabia today, it's clear the international political landscape has shifted. After the now infamous press conference between President Zelensky and Trump, the Association of Ukrainians in Great Britain spoke of the need to stand strong and united, while the cups on sale depicting Trump hinted to deeper unease. You get a sense of dignity and determination here from the displaced people of Leeds' Ukrainian community. But the one thing that was made clear to me over and over again is the gratitude they have to the British people and to the people of Yorkshire.
Now for our special People of Yorkshire segment, where we feature people from across the county who want to make a difference.
Pierre Malo-Mougin is managing the Bikes for Refugees charity scheme, which aims to support refugees and provide greater mobility across the city. Our reporter Will Cooper spoke to him about the project.
Being a refugee takes up a big part of their life, and they get sort of categorised into this. It's nice to sort of step outside of just that box for once. Yeah, so my name's Pierre. I'm a final year economics and geography student at the University of Leeds, and through the Society STAR, Student Action for Refugees, I coordinate the Bikes for Refugees project's part of that. We collect old donated bikes. A lot of our donations come from students or university staff, and then we fix them. So we're all volunteers. Once we've fixed up the bikes, we then send them over to PAFRAS, which is Positive Action for Refugees and Asylum Seekers. So they're a Leeds-based charity. We just give them to then pass along to refugees and asylum seekers. So bikes are a free way of getting around. The price of just a bus ticket to get there can be quite a big constraint. It is actually quite a big barrier to people in the system and in that situation. I think a big part of the reason why I first started to get involved was it was an opportunity to learn how to fix my own bike, and then after starting I realised how rewarding it was, and that made me want to carry on and continue doing it.
Now, as part of the Bradford 2025 cultural programme, the Worth Valley Heritage train line will be home to an exclusive live adaptation of the classic story, The Railway Children.
It's all part of a range of activities to highlight the diverse programme of events. A purpose-built amphitheatre will be the last stop for those aboard the original locomotives used in the 1970 film. Our reporter, Anna Barnes, went to find out more.
For the first time, Mike Kenny's acclaimed adaptation of The Railway Children will be performed in a purpose-built auditorium at Oxenhope Station. Audiences will board a steam train at Keighley before travelling the length of the historic railway made famous by the classic film. The production is part of Bradford's 2025 Year of Culture and offers a fresh take on E. Nesbitt's beloved story of three children uprooted from London to Yorkshire after their father's wrongful imprisonment.
Possibly the last remaining fully operational goods shed left in Britain. So it blends for a lot of the filming that we have going on the railway, which we're quite famous for, everything from the Railway Children to some of the more present day features, because our station here is very much the jewel in the crown of our stations, the most authentic of them all, and restored more to the Midland era, which is roughly around 1900. The station's goods yard has undergone massive refurbishment this year, with many grants involved, to overhaul the goods shed, which is possibly the last remaining fully operational and intact goods shed in Britain.
Anna Barnes for Yorkshire Voice.
Now to see what the weather has in store for us, we can cross live to Eric Hayward.
Well, it's clear spring is definitely in the air here. In Yorkshire, as throughout today, we have a mix of clouds and sunny spells, but it looks to be mostly dry across the region as we view the week ahead. Temperatures today have been hitting highs of 15 or 16 degrees. However, as night falls, we expect lows of between 4 and 6 degrees, expecting winds reaching gusts of 20 miles an hour in certain areas. A slight change in weather comes as we head into tomorrow, as we're expecting to see mostly sunny skies throughout, with peaks of 16 degrees throughout the day and a low of 8 at night. Enjoy the sunshine over the next couple of days, as we expect showers of the rain head our way as the weekend progresses. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much for that weather report, Eric. And I'm afraid that's all we have time for today. But if you want to stay up to date with all our local stories, be sure to follow the Yorkshire Voice socials.
And we look forward to seeing you back here at 4 p.m. tomorrow when we'll have all the latest on stories affecting our region. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Goodbye.